Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. That's right, we have a Pope. Thank you very much for joining us this Wednesday evening. Well, excitement, it has been building all day, then the white smoke emerged. Let's go live now to Vatican City, where we have a Pope here, and let's go to Marcy Rodriguez here with the very latest.
Good evening. Pope Francis, the 76-year-old from Argentina, is the first pope from Latin America, the first Jesuit pope, elected tonight in the 5th round of voting.
Habemus Papam.
The moment much of the world has been anxiously awaiting, the newly elected pope appearing on the balcony above St. Peter's Square, Argentina's Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio taking the name Pope Francis. The first pope ever from Latin America.
Argentinian, but with an Italian name. Nice. And this is something that makes it a bridge between the worlds. And I think that makes it easier for both sides to have a new world pope. This is a very big deal.
Pope Francis praying,
Padre nostro,
greeting the emotional crowd below. People from across the globe who so patiently watched and waited to see this. White smoke billowing from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, along with the tolling bells. An announcement to the world, the conclave is over, a new leader of the Roman Catholic Church is elected.
Well, it's a huge moment for the Catholic Church. It's a tradition that goes back to the time of St. Peter. The Pope has a great effect on the lives of everyday Catholics.
Bergoglio was said to be the runner-up in the last papal election, and despite now being 76 years old, he was once again able to impress the cardinal electors.
Cardinal Bergoglio stood up and spoke strongly and clearly about some of the problems that these cardinals were talking about. And I think they had the sense that this is not a man who's past his prime. This is a man who could really come in and make the changes that need to be made.
And now he leaves his identity as Cardinal Bergoglio behind, beginning a new life as the supreme leader of the Roman Catholic Church. And Pope Francis is known as being passionate about the poor. Back in Argentina, he lived a very humble life, riding the bus, living in a tiny apartment. But now he won't be returning to that home. He'll move into his apartment here at the Vatican. Live in Rome, Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News. Now back to you.
Thank you very much, Marcy. And let's stay in Rome, and our own Natalie Patterson. She on the ground there, and she joins us now with more. Natalie?
Good evening, and it's all right here on the front page of L'Osservatore Romano, which is a paper of the Vatican, and it says it right there, Habeas Papam, we have a pope. And the excitement rang out through St. Peter's Square earlier tonight, the crowd just erupting into thrilling applause and cheers when that white smoke came out. People came running up the main road closer to the Vatican, as close as they could get, and then the bells started to ring out, which confirmed what we had all been here waiting for through the rain and the wind and the cold. They have a new pope, and those 115 cardinals had made their decision. Like I said, people came running from everywhere in Rome. Some people trying to take buses to get here, taxis, brothers and sisters just running as fast as they could while trying to call other people in this area to let them know what was happening in St. Peter's Square. One thing we could not ignore tonight, besides, of course, the excitement, was the connection that seemed to be made between the new Pope, Pope Francis, and the young people who were in the square. A lot of excitement. They were waving flags, they were cheering and holding signs. We had the chance to speak with Brother Pius, who commented on that connection, and a couple students who were studying abroad here.
He's going to be responsive as well as a leader, but also responsive to the people. He seems to have great humility, and I think the election of a non-European shows again the Church's universality. But it's one of her key marks is that she embraces all people, irrespective of race.
It was amazing. Just being here, I'm here for study abroad. So even being in Rome is a blessing. But being here, 10 minutes in Vatican City, and being part of this amazing experience of history is incredible.
It's kind of like being back home, going to a Yankee game and just seeing everybody do the wave. It's just exciting, but it's just truly incredible to be part of history, and to think that it would happen this soon. It's just mind-blowing.
And at the end of the when the Pope was speaking with the crowd here, he ended his speech by saying good night and go get some rest, which may be difficult for all the people who are here. That excitement may not wear off anytime soon. It was quite thrilling, but on the other hand, I'm sure a lot of people ready to get some rest here after a day full of waiting. The crowds here in St. Peter's Square are beginning to thin out. For now, live in Rome, Natalie Patterson, FiOS 1 News.
All right, great job, Natalie. Thank you. We'll be checking back later in the evening. All right, let's bring in our panel right now. We got Dominic Carter with us, political journalist and author. Dr. Nancy Dalla Valle, she's the chair of the Religious Studies Department at Fairfield University. We're very pleased to be joined by her, and she's written extensively on Catholic theology and teaches about the papacy. And Andrew Whitman, senior political correspondent. Guys, thank you very much. Dominic and Andrew, you're going to have an easy night tonight. All right. I also should mention here that we're going to be bringing you, the audience, into our conversation as well. It's not an overstatement to say today was a historical decision. The first time in more than a millennium you saw a pope selected from outside of Europe, and also the first time we've ever seen a pope come from the Americas. So, but beyond the geography of it, I think we all can all agree the church is at the crossroads right now, and it has certain decisions that it can or cannot choose to take here, but without any debate, there will be consequences for where it chooses to go in this next chapter. And Doctor, first of all, just from a timing standpoint, I'll be honest, I didn't think today this thing was coming down. I had other meetings planned. I had to make a U-turn before I hit the Triborough at another meeting. This was quick, and given that there wasn't some long illness that befell the Pope at the time, it was a very sudden, at least by most accounts, unexpected resignation on the part of Pope Benedict. This thing came together pretty quickly. And I at least was surprised by the final outcome. How about you?
Well, I was surprised as well. You're right. The resignation, although he had prepared us for it by saying, I might resign, this is something that we should think about for a pope. When it actually came down, it was fairly quick, and then it was 3 weeks' notice, and out he was. And so that was surprising. There was a lot of talk about if the decision came quickly, it might be one of these front runners who had been named several times. And what seemed to have missed many of our notice, including my own, was that it would be the guy who came in second, apparently, last time.
Apparently it was pretty close 8 years ago, wasn't it?
That's what I hear. And of course, no one will confirm, but this is what we hear. And so that is surprising. And I guess what that says to me, on the one hand, is they want to clean up. The main story about this person is above reproach, and that's what they need. They don't want someone who is implicated in any of the problems that the Vatican has had. They don't want anyone who is in any way going to sort of take a high clerical stance towards things. So the fact that he's very humble, that he's of the people, but they need someone to clean up the curia. And I think that's going to be job number one, which will work in that a Vatican that works is a more pastorally focused Vatican, but there also are a number of issues that the world is bringing to the Vatican's door. I'm not sure this one is going to immediately address them. He has a global vision, but there are a lot of questions that are coming to the fore, and I think in some way this is sort of a stabilizing the ship rather than going up onto the helm and looking at the horizon.
And we'll talk about the biography and the historical, geographical significance of where this pontiff comes from. But there's a number that jumps out to me, which is 76. Yeah. So everybody knows you couldn't be in the College of Cardinals voting if you were 80 or older. Okay, there's a rule, and there's a rule for a reason here. And if you think about why Pope Benedict resigned, unless there's some illness we're unaware of, the demands of the job in 21st century, in an international age, if you think about where the church has been growing, Doctor, it's in Africa, it's in Asia, it's in South America. You can't just sit in the Vatican anymore and do an annual trip here. You have to be a global ambassador for the church. especially if there's this evangelical element that they claim that they want it to be. He's 76. To me, I was surprised by that in itself. And maybe I was biased because I was hoping Dolan would get it. But that being said, that's a lot to ask of anybody. And even if age is a number, he's still 76.
They may be thinking that because he has deep roots in South America that he need not actually go everywhere to project the kind of global engagement that they're thinking about. So he may not need to be globe-trotting to be able to reach out in some way and make people feel that they're heard. I'm guessing they might be thinking something like that.
Yep.
The issue is, but because of Ratzinger's resignation, is he going to be Pope until he passes away, or will he also resign at some point? And now that field is wide open. We don't know what the next story will be on it.